Shavua Tov, a gute Woche, and welcome to our program. We're in the beginning of the month of Shvat, and we are preparing for the great day of Yud Shvat. Yud Shvat is the Kabbalah's Nesius of the Rebbe, the day that the Rebbe officially accepted upon himself the mantle of Nesius of Chabad. And Yud Shvat, as we know, is the outside of the previous Rebbe. The Rebbe talking about Yud Shvat, and this was in the year Tovshin Chof Nun Beis, which has a special sensitivity, as we know. So the Rebbe before Yud Shvat of Tovshin Nun Beis, and we're paying attention to the timing of the Sikha. The Rebbe asked a question that in his life in this world of the previous Rebbe, he was in a matzev the last years, Beshonim U'Acharenes, that by him was bedugmas hamatzev from kvad peu kvad loshem b'Moshe Rabbeinu. The Rebbe does not say, and does not speak specifically about the condition of the previous Rebbe, but he says that in the last years he experienced a matzev, a situation, a condition that is similar to the condition of Moshe Rabbeinu. And by Moshe Rabbeinu it says, kvat peu kvat loshin, that he was heavy-mouthed and heavy-tongued. And not only that, and this had an effect on his saying of Chassidus, and an hafotzas hateira ve'hayadus, and hafotzas hamayonis chutz. So this had effect on the entire work of the previous Rebbe. And the Rebbe continues, and the Rebbe says, ve'at kedei kach, so much so, that even his doctor, and the Rebbe says in parentheses, it was also a professor, which is in addition to being a doctor, came with a question: how could it be that the Rebbe's matzev should affect his ability to speak and his ability to say Chassidus? The previous Rebbe was very strong on the Fotas HaTeira, on spreading Teira, on spreading Yadus, and on spreading Chassidus, and all of these came from his power of speech, where he would talk about all these matters and give directives and say Mamolim and say Sichas. The Sichas were committed to writing, the Mamolim were committed to writing, or they were sent all over the world. Chassidim were learning them, teaching them, and there were directives in them. So this is what kept Chabad going all the time. Now, when there is a certain hindrance because of the ability to speak, then everything is taking a back seat. And that was the question. That was the question of the doctor, who was also a professor. He asked that question: how come the Rebbe, so to speak, is not giving the Rebbe the ability to do what the Rebbe has to do, the shlichus of the Rebbe? And the question, and the Rebbe even goes out of his way, and he says that on the one hand, how can you question God? If this is something that God did, how can you possibly question God? But then the Rebbe answers that it says, that Almighty God wants that we should try to understand it within our ability. We should try to understand as much as we can. This is the Rebbe's question. Before we go further, Rabbi say, if you look on the screen, you see it says Chalukah Shulchan Aruch Admur Azok, in the distribution of the Shulchan Aruch of the Alter Rebbe, from Chof Dalet Teves of this year, just passed, until Chof Dalet Teves of next year, Tovshin Pei Hei, the distribution of the entire Shulchan Aruch of the Alter Rebbe. And you see here that it says at the very last line that if you want to join, you go to alterrebbe.org, and there you will find the entire Shulchan Aruch. And today we are up to 67% in Chalukah Aleph and 9% in Chalukah Beis. The 9% in Chalukah Beis are, first of all, it's important, it's 9%. And second of all, it gives us a window that in case you want something that someone already took in Chalukah Aleph, you can go to Chalukah Beis. Especially Hilchos Hashkamas HaBeker, which was already taken in Chalukah Beis. Now, you can go further than that. If what you wanted was already taken in Chalukah Aleph and in Chalukah Beis, so you can go into Chalukah Gimel and you can go into Chalukah Dalet. So therefore, it's all open to you. So if you go to alterrebbe.org, you can choose exactly what you want from the Alter Rebbe Shulchan Aruch. And the Rebbe stresses that this is the iskashirus to the Alter Rebbe. The connection to the Alter Rebbe is by learning the Torah of the Alter Rebbe, the Maimorim of the Alter Rebbe, and the Shulchan Aruch of the Alter Rebbe. So if you go into alterrebbe.org, then you can find exactly what you would want to, in what part you would like to participate in learning the Shulchan Aruch of the Alter Rebbe between now and Chof Dalet Teves Tovshin Pehei Abo Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael L'Tevo. We will return to that, and we will return to the question that we asked. But first, our customary story. Our customary story today is also in connection with Yud Shvat. I heard the story from a Chassid Rabbi Yosef Weinberg, who was very much involved before Yud Shvat Tovshin Yud Aleph, that the Rebbe should accept the Nesius. And together with a lot of younger light, that they wrote to the Rebbe, spoke to the Rebbe should accept the Nesius, and the Rebbe was reluctant. And he says before Yud Shvat, when they really asked the Rebbe strongly to accept the Nesius, the Rebbe said these words, Ich hab nit kin heroes of them. I do not have any directives. Which means in simple language, he did not have directives from the previous Rebbe that he should accept the Nesius. It seems this was on a Shabbos. On a Sunday, I'm not sure about this prat, whether it was on a Shabbos, but right after that, they took 10 Jews, he was one of them, and they went to the Tzion of the Frierdiker Rebbe, and they said to the Frierdiker Rebbe that they spoke to the Rebbe, and the Rebbe says that he doesn't have any heroes on that. Rabbi Weinberg says that after that, he stopped saying it. And Baruch Hashem, he accepted the Nesius for Yud Shvat Tovshin Yud Aleph. Going back to the question, number one, the Rebbe all the years never spoke about the condition of the previous Rebbe. Never spoke about the condition of Rebbe. You can see it, it's not mentioned in any sichos. He spoke about it in Tovshin Nun Beis. First of all, Tovshin Nun Beis is a very sensitive year. It was already Shvat Tovshin Nun Beis, just a few weeks before Chov Zayin Oder Rishon Tovshin Nun Beis, which means just about at the last stop. So Tovshin Nun Beis was the only year he spoke about it. And also he didn't say clearly about the condition of the previous Rebbe. He said that the condition of the previous Rebbe was similar to the condition of Moshe Rabbeinu, and by Moshe Rabbeinu it says Kvatper. And there's an underpinning question. The Rebbe, that with his speech and with his talk was able to move the entire world, there that speech was impaired. How do we understand that? The whole world talks. The whole world talks, and as the saying goes, people who have nothing to say talk all the time. The previous Rebbe who had something to say, Maimorim and Sichos and Directives and taking care of the world, there was something with his ability of speaking. And the question becomes stronger. We learn now in Chitas, constantly, the Rebbe is speaking to Moshe Rabbeinu. And he says to Moshe Rabbeinu, I am going to appoint you as my shliach. Leich v'yashlochacho. The term shliach is there. I am going to make you my shliach. And for what? For the greatest thing that could be, to take out the Jews from Mitzrayim. What should have Moshe Rabbeinu answered? One word. Like Avrom, Hineni, the Ben Shalom, this is what you want, I'm ready. And you see constantly, you see Moshe Rabbeinu came out with all kinds of excuses. I don't know how to talk, what peuch, what loshin. And this in itself is even a bigger question. The whole world can talk, and their words don't make any difference. Today you see people talking all the time. You see somebody walking on the street and is making with his hands. And if this would happen years ago, you would think that maybe this fellow needs some psychological help. Today he's talking on the phone, and he's talking loudly. And he goes into a car, and there are other people in the car, and they still talk. I remember once going on a bus to the AL, and there was one Jew. He was on the phone, and he was talking. He didn't hear too well, so he was talking very loudly. Everybody wanted to say some Tilim, and he was talking as loudly as he can. Everybody is talking. The person whose talk is going to make the difference. Moshe Rabbeinu is going to go to Pali and he's going to say, Shalach Asami, let my people go. Those words are going to make the difference. Moshe Rabbeinu couldn't talk. How do you reconcile that? Everyone can talk. Billions of people talk what they should talk and what they shouldn't talk. Sometimes Dvorim Amutolim and sometimes different kind of talk. And they have the ability to talk. And their talk doesn't make any difference. The talk of the Rebbe, and the question becomes even stronger, Rabbi say. The Rebbe doesn't say it, of course, but we know it. The Rebbe speaks about the previous Rebbe, and we know about the condition of the Rebbe. The Rebbe says we're not supposed to question God, but we're supposed to understand as much as we can. The Rebbe's ability to talk, as we know the last years, was impaired. The Rebbe who spoke to the whole world. The Rebbe who gave broches to the whole world. The Rebbe whose words made a difference in this world. When the Rebbe spoke, his words were heard all over. They even say that sometimes in the cabinet of Israel, when they wanted to pass a law that wasn't 100% in accordance with the thinking of the Rebbe, they would say to each other, Uma yagid al ze harabi milubavitch? And what's the Lubavitch Rebbe going to say about this? The Rebbe was the governor of the Mistafinomine, the person that they were afraid of, because he's going to voice his opinion with strength, with inspiration, and the world is going to listen, as the Rebbe did so many times. And then after Chav Zayin Oder, silence. How do we reconcile that? The Rebbe who took care of the whole world, who gave brochas to the whole world, who gave dollars to the whole world, who gave brochas and directives. And when the Rebbe went with his hand like this, he lifted the whole world. How do we understand what happened after Chav Zayin Oder? That was the Rebbe's speaking ability. And what about his right hand? The right hand that gave Keshel Brocho to thousands and thousands of people. The right hand who gave dollars every Sunday morning. The right hand who went like this and lifted the whole world. That right hand was impaired. How do you reconcile that? There's only been so many people whose hands and feet don't make any difference. And Baruch Hashem, they have hands and feet. And they can move their hands and they can move their feet. In the Rebbe's case, where his right hand was so important for the existence of Klal Yisrael, that right hand was impaired. Absolutely mind-boggling. How can you understand that? And with the Rebbe's question about the previous Rebbe, he answers the question also for himself. And he brings a Zehar. I believe it's a Zehar. Where he brings that the Zehar said, Bekama Mekemis, it's a Zehar Chelik Beis. And the Zehar says that the Dibur was in Golus. The Zehar answers this question, that the Golus was so strong that the Dibur, the talk of Moshe Rabbeinu, was in Golus. Only of Moshe Rabbeinu. That's where the Golus hit, because the Golus knew that that's where the difference is going to be made. So therefore, especially Moshe Rabbeinu, you can't ask a question, how come the whole world can talk, and Moshe Rabbeinu cannot? The Golus doesn't care when the whole world talk. Let them talk, it'll make any difference anyway. But where it's going to make the difference, when Moshe is going to come on that klap auf den Tisch, and he's going to say to Pare, Shalach Asami, the words are going to make a difference. This is where the Golus hit. The Golus hit in the most sensitive areas where the Golus wants to continue and the Golus doesn't want to stop. That's what the Rebbe brings. And he brings that as the answer to the previous Rebbe. Of course, he says nothing about himself, but it's without saying that the Rebbe is talking about himself as well. And what does he answer about the previous Rebbe? That he's not saying it in a way that we should be morbid and we should be sad. He's saying it in a way, and he says it clearly, that we, Kaviyochel, can become the mouth of the previous Rebbe. Because Baruch Hashem, each and every one of us has a mouth. So the Rebbe says, you have a mouth, use your mouth the right way. To learn, to daven. You see a Jew, say hello. You see a Jew in the morning, Shabbos morning, say good Shabbos. Don't just pass him by like you don't know who he is, even if you don't know who he is. But you're going to shul and he's going to shul. But you're going on one block, he's going on another block. You're passing each other. Say good Shabbos. Whether he's going to answer you or not, you have to do your own. You find out you ask, how are you? You never know. You never know how the uplifting you give to a Jew when you talk about him. When you ask him, how is he? How does he feel? You're going to say, what am I going to ask him? I can't do anything. This is not the teretz. My mother, Aleh Sholem, used to say that there was a Jew in France, Rebbe Nissen. Rebbe Nissen was a Eida Tzaddik. She says whenever he was on the street, he always said hello to her. Rebbe Nissen said hello to everyone. Rebbe Nissen himself, who was so removed from that, even he met a woman, he said hello. He said hello, good Shabbos. He said hello. Nochanan, took care of everyone. There's a Gemara someplace that you take away something from the oni, Gzelas oni, that you rob the poor man, and the question is, how can you rob a poor man? He doesn't have anything. Where are you going to rob him? Are you going to rob him? He doesn't have anything. The answer is you don't say hello to him. That he has. And you're taking away the hello, the shalom aleichem, the bid was machti, the shalom aleichem, es freut mir euch zu sehen. It's a pleasure to see you. You uplift him. You use your mouth. That's what the Rebbe says. The mouth that the Frierdiker Rebbe, for whatever reason, was unable to use, but we have a mouth we can use. And the same thing is with a hand. Baruch Hashem, we have hands and we have feet and we can go to shul and we can do good things. So we can be the mouthpiece and we can be the hands and the feet of the Frierdiker Rebbe. And without saying it, the Rebbe is talking to us. And he says, we can be. And listen what he says. That we can do it in what kind of form can we do it? We can do it in the Neshomes B'riyas B'gufim B'riyim. Healthy Neshomes within healthy bodies. In other words, Almighty God gave us a body, and we have the ability to talk. And we want to be healthy. So the Rebbe says, we use that ability that God gave you. That ability that you have to talk. Chas v'sholom, not to talk Lashon Hara, or to talk Lashon Echilis, or something that you're not allowed to talk, but to talk good things about a Jew. My mother, Allah Shalom, used to say, if you don't have anything nice to say about a Jew, say nothing. But don't say anything derogatory. Don't say anything derogatory, chas v'sholom, about another Jew. Always find something nice to say about another Jew. And there's a great deal of reciprocity here. That if we are nice to another Jew and we speak nicely about another Jew, Almighty God speaks nicely about us. Then he says we're going to judge the Jew the way he judges others. He always says nice things about others. We're going to say nice things about others. He wishes good things for others. He runs to shul, we'll give him reward. I once asked a Jew, did you count the steps? Because he said every Shabbos he's walking for a long time to get to a Beis Chabad. So I asked him, did you ever count the steps? It was a few miles from your house to the Beis Chabad. He was like taken aback, count the steps. Who counts the steps? So I said to him, you don't have to worry. If you didn't count the steps, Almighty God counted the steps. God counted the steps. God counted the steps that I take every Shabbos morning. The Gemara says Almighty God gives you schal psius. Schal psius means the reward for the steps. Not for the kilometers, not for the miles, for each step. Almighty God counts your steps. The steps you take to go to shul, the steps you take to go to a mitzvah, the steps you take to help another Jew. And you are becoming the mouth and the feet, kaviyochel, so to speak, more than one, so to speak, of the Rebbe, of the previous Rebbe and of the Rebbe. Because you have that ability. And the Rebbe stresses that there should be neshomes begufim. Do it, neshomes begufim, so that your body, your soul is within your body. We understand the connotation here. Neshomes beriyes begufim beriyim. Healthy neshomes in healthy bodies. And this is our key for Alichas Yomim V'Shonim Tevis, to use the ability that Almighty gave us. The mouth that Almighty gave us, and everybody, Baruch Hashem, has a mouth. So we can use the mouth for good things, for chitas and for tilim, and for learning, and for saying good things about another Jew. Chas v'sholem, not the hepech, not the opposite. And the ability of our hands and our feet, we can go and we can do. We can be the partners of the Rebbe. We can be the mouthpiece of the Rebbe and the hands and the feet of the Rebbe. The Rebbe says that. A little difficult, but the Rebbe says that, so we don't have to worry about that. We can be the partners of the Rebbe in all good things. We live in a special generation, friends. The last generation of Golus and the first generation of Geula. And we're going to see the Geula Amitis V'Ashlema with our own eyes. But it's taking a little bit because they are Pachim Ktanim. Pachim Ktanim means small vessels that we still have to refine. But they are there for us to refine those vessels and for us to prepare ourselves and our Chelke Ba'elam, our part in this world, and prepare the world collectively for the Geula Amitis V'Ashlema coming our way. Ubagolo didan uvesimcho uvetuv levov uvetiva nira ve'aniglo ulamata me'asol atfochim uvechesed uverachamim v'tekef umiyad mamesh